they can just turn and look at that and say, hey, see, nobody really cares about your stuff. Just get back to work and accept our deal. We don't really want to give them that, do we? Unless you've been pretty much living under a rock in terms of being on the internet, you've probably heard something about like the writers' strikes, the actors' strikes going on. And recently there was an update with the strikes regarding the video game industry. It's been potentially leading in that direction. That's the way it seems to me. I can't remember exactly when they made their talks about with the latest updates. We are going to go over an article from a few days ago, September 28th. Excuse me. Right here, we've got the SAG-AFTRA video game producers end contract talks. Sides vow to make final efforts to reach a deal. So basically what happened earlier this last month was there was a vote put through of strike authorization, which is not directly a vote to strike. It's a vote to give the workers, I guess. Are they unionized right now? I hope they are. But they're in talks right now and the strike has been authorized, which means if they don't fully come to an agreement with their deal here, a strike is more than likely to go through. So, SAG-AFTRA has ended its scheduled negotiations with video game producers for a new interactive media contract without reaching an agreement. The union has a strike authorization vote in its back pocket, but a joint statement from SAG-AFTRA and the video game producers issued late Thursday signaled that the sides are still hoping to avoid a second major work stoppage. SAG-AFTRA has been on strike against Hollywood's largest employers in TV and film since July 14th of this same year. I knew SAG workers are unionized, but no one else is. Yeah, I think currently it's a effort to extend SAG-AFTRA into the video game industry as well, like branching that over. SAG-AFTRA and video game employers concluded scheduled negotiations for the interactive media agreement. No deal was reached and the current agreement will remain in effect while the parties make final efforts to reach a deal, the joint statement read. Here we get into a bit more about the goings on. The union has been in on-again, off-again negotiations with video game giants since October 2022. So they've actually been fighting this fight for over a year now. That's a hell of a time to keep going, especially in a largely ununionized sector. I really hope with this broader push of workers' rights and unionization in America that this will hopefully be pushed through. The companies involved in talks include Activision, Blindlight LLC, Disney Character Voices Inc., Electronic Arts Productions Inc., Formosa Interactive LLC, Insomniac Games Incorporated, Epic Games, Take-Two Productions, VoiceWorks Productions, and Warner Brothers Games Inc. Blindlight does VoiceWorks for Valve, if I recall correctly. I'm honestly not sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if at least one of these, I would think Blindlight would be related to Valve and Steam, or at least just Valve. Earlier this month, SAG-AFTRA members voted overwhelmingly 98% in favor of strike authorization against 10 major video game companies. The results unveiled September 25th found that roughly 34,000 members cast ballots representing 27% of eligible voters. SAG-AFTRA is in the midst of the first industry-wide film and TV strike in more than 40 years. The union is set to resume contract talks on Monday, and the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, for the first time since negotiations broke down on the night of July 12th. Amid a national surge of labor union activism, the Writers Guild of America went on strike May 2nd and just concluded a tentative agreement with the AMPTP. I can't remember which one the Alliance for Motion Pictures Television Producers on September 24th. Industry hopes are high that the resolution of the WGA's contract can help pave the way for SAG-AFTRA to finish the line when talks resume next week. So as of right now, it is the weekend that I'm recording this. Hopefully they can get through with their final efforts to reach a deal. Otherwise, a strike against these named companies here would be authorized and potentially gone through with. Now, what does that really mean to the average person? What does that mean to creators? For the average person, it doesn't really mean a whole heck of a lot. I mean, unless you like higher quality video games made by people that actually aren't stressing about their lives while they're trying to make the things we enjoy. For creators, some people are saying that you shouldn't be streaming games made by these companies. And I mean, if you want to virtue signal, you can cut them all from your streaming list. There is a push to create a big list of all these banned games, and honestly, I don't recommend going through with that planning of attempting a boycott. We want to show that we stand in solidarity with all these developers, all these workers, right? So we don't want to try and virtue signal online in a more than likely failed attempt to get people to not do a thing. And then the companies that we're actually wanting to quote unquote defeat, they can just turn and look at that and say, hey, see, nobody really cares about your stuff. Just get back to work and accept our deal. We don't really want to give them that, do we? Obviously, we don't also want to give them free promotion, but that's just kind of part and parcel to what streamers do anyways. The thing is, you're saying you will cross that picket line and play multi-versus story mode. You're not getting paid by them. You're not crossing any picket line as a creator. You would technically be crossing a picket line if you were wanting to work in the video game or voice acting industries in the future. You would also be crossing the picket line, so to speak, if you were to accept a sponsorship by the struck companies. That's really it. You're not really, from what I've last heard regarding the workers or the writers' strike, what they had actually asked of creators was what I just said. You can do whatever kind of content you want. If you want to stand in solidarity with us, advocate for unionization, for strikes, for workers' rights, and don't take the money of those people. That's what the Writers Guild had asked creators. To my knowledge, I could be completely wrong on that one. So if anybody actually knows better than I do, please let me know. So as it stands, unless SAG-AFTRA actually makes a direct request to creators of like, hey, don't stream these games kind of thing. This is going to be my stance of stream whatever you want. Just keep talking about advocate, or keep talking about positive, the strike positively. Talk about the efforts to unionize positively. Overall, I want to see higher quality games. How are we going to do that? By making sure the people working on the games are as comfortable as possible. They're making a form of art, and they need the tools available and the time available to properly flesh it out. That said, there is also a bit of an effort to create a sort of union for creators in general. There is the Virtual Creators Union, so to speak. It is currently just a somewhat small Discord of people interested in talking about, getting a little more out of the giant corporations that we're using to platform ourselves. Kind of give us a voice at the table. Not going to be getting anywhere really fast, anywhere quick, but it's something that's going to take years and years to develop. We got to start developing it now, don't we? It's like they say, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is today. So if you're interested in checking out the Virtual Creators Union, I will be including a link to the Discord. I hope. It's not specifically a VTuber union, but it's one that's been largely spawned by VTubers. It's one that has the potential to grow to appeal to like all creators, even flesh tubers, but it's just largely talked about by like a handful of small VTubers. Comfortability may lead to slight stagnation for some, though. It's a rare occurrence, but it may happen. Like comfortability regarding their creation or video game creation. Because like what I'm advocating against in regards to video game development is like that crunch time shit of trying to pump out a game ASAP and then not fully fleshing things out. Look at Cyberpunk and its release. That went down horribly, and they had to take forever to fix it up. And all they needed to do was wait a little bit longer, and they would have saved themselves so much PR damage, so to speak. But I mean, that's just my opinion. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe for more content, and if you want to join the community, feel free to check out the Discord. I love to voice chat in there, so if you want to ever talk, I'm usually available. Well, in the afternoons.